Hi, Glenn Phillips here with Beach Homes Realty and beach-homes.com. And today I'm going to talk to you about buying and selling a beach home that it's a long play. So, what do I mean by that? Well, there's several points that mean you got to think differently when you're buying and selling beach property if you've never done this before, because it's not going to be the same as buying that primary residence in town or even in the rural environment where there's a different schedule, a different need, a different priority. So let me explain. First off, these are discretionary properties, which means patience is required. Just like eating at a very high-end restaurant, you don't need that to sustain your body. A place at the beach is discretionary as well. You don't need it for shelter. So in this case, even if you work in the area, you don't have to pay the premium to be at the beach. So it requires patience, because with discretionary properties, these are things that they can wait and get the one they really want, and they do. They can be several years of thinking about selling, and can be several years of looking for the right one to buy, particularly if there's limited inventory. People can be very patient when it's discretionary, because it's not a have to. It's not like we've got to get in this beach home before school starts. So keep that in mind. The next thing about this long play is you're not going to have suddenly a push because mortgage rates got better. Most of these transactions are cash. And if they're not cash, these are people who have typically the best credit, and they're able to afford doing higher end discretionary property with a higher price. So you're not going to see economic changes of interest rates driving people to sell more or not. It may impact developers, but that's not a mortgage rate. That's a different type of lending rate. Number three, dream homes are different than urban and suburban homes. So again, people want this magical dream. They want this thing where it's a gateway to future memories. Sure, they want to love their house where they live, where they work, where their kids go to school. But once you go to the beach, this is a different type of home. And because of that, it goes back to saying discretionary. It also means that people know what they want and they know what they don't want, and they don't have to settle. So you have to think about this, and that extends the cycle in many cases of when somebody will buy. And you have to be aware of that as a buyer or a seller. And then the last point I want to make about this long play is when someone is a first time, they're a new beach home buyer, there's a learning curve. If they've never bought, they don't understand how the price works, what they get for their money. They often come and go, wow, I thought for this price point I get a lot more house. Where I said, well, you got to account for the beach location itself, independent of the property, may be a disproportionate part of the price than it would be for a home in the suburbs. It could be multiple times more. So what you're buying is an expensive lot with a more reasonable house on it, and the lot has that big influence. And beach buyers either have to, if they come in with a budget, they either have to typically expand their budget or change what they're expecting to buy. And so they have to look and understand and educate. You can tell them, but they kind of have to see it, and they have to work through that learning curve when they're buying. And if you're selling, you have to understand there may be people who come to look at your property. So when you're buying and selling a beach home, just keep in mind, it's a long play. We hope your transaction goes well. If you price appropriately, it's not a long play. If you're selling appropriately priced homes in this market, go quick, but you have limited inventory, so you may have to wait if you're a buyer. So lots of things make this a long play, but I wish you success in a timely manner. And we have agents across the country that can be glad to help you through this, as well as tens of thousands of properties for sale at beach-homes.com, so you can begin your long play and maybe make it a short one right now. Thank you and have a great day. For more information, be sure to check out beach-homes.com.